Do you like spending money? Clearly not.
Not particularly.
I heard a story that you wanted to buy a watch, and at this point you had sold millions of albums, that you wanted to buy a watch.
I know the story.
Is that true? You called up your manager to see if you could afford to buy the watch?
Yeah. I think it was a Rolex. Was it a Rolex? It was a Rolex. And I asked him, could I afford it? Because they make fun of me for it, but I'm for real. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, this is the whole money thing, all that stuff was brand new to me.
The one thing that I have learned to relate to all of my children is to dream. There is nothing bigger than your dream. Nothing is greater than your dream. I am not saying that your education is not important because it's tied to a lot of your dreams. But let me tell you something. There ain't nothing bigger than your dream. Because your dream will propel you to get the education.
The one thing, like people talk about depression all the time, the difference between depression and sadness is just, you know, from happenstance. Whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, you know, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me.
In our society, we often don't take on big things because we're so afraid of making mistakes that we ignore all the things wrong today if we do nothing. The reality is, anything we do today is going to have some issues in the future. But that can't stop us from getting started. So what are we waiting for? It is time for our generation-defining great works.
Every challenge I take, I have a big vision. I put a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice in things I do. If I don't do it, it means I don't believe in it. In this I believe very strong, and I will not give up until I'm top of the world. So that's the way it works. You aim for the top, you don't aim for the second. Second place is the first place among the last ones, and that's not my target.
The problem is we don't teach people how to lead, right? When you're very, very junior, we give people tons of training how to do their jobs. Some people get advanced degrees how to do their jobs so that they'll be good at them. And if you're really good at your job, we'll promote you. And eventually you get promoted to a position where you're now responsible for the people who do the job you used to do, and we don't teach you how to do that. So how can we expect people to be good at their jobs if we don't train them how to do it? Like, would you go see a doctor that didn't go to medical school? No. So why would we work for a leader who has no training in being a leader? That's why we get managers. That's why we get micromanagers. That's why we get toxicity. It's not because they're bad people. It's because they don't know what they're doing. And they're making it up as they go along.
I care a lot about the truth of things and trying to understand the truth of things. I think that's important. You know, if you're going to come up with some solution, then the truth is really, really important. I think. I try to think of. I mean, it's difficult to obviously come up with like things that are praise for oneself, you know, or like there's bad and good here. But I think like sometimes they're just like the things that seem quite clear and obvious to me, and I don't understand why they aren't so obvious to everyone.
You know, I just be myself. You know, I think you know, people respect that when you just, you know, an authentic person. And, you know, I try to, you know, do great work for people. You know, I work hard to make sure that the finished product is something that I would go see, or that I would spend my time watching or listening to. So I think it's a lot of pride that goes into the work.
Okay, everybody can't do it. Okay, yeah, I love this one. You know, people talk about this. We're all born with greatness. You're not fucking born with greatness. You earn greatness. Okay? That's a bullshit line to sell fucking shit, to talk about we're all born with greatness. Okay? That's the raw stuff about giving people hugs and high fives and all that other stuff. That's a fucking high. Okay? I tell people, what do you got to do to get to paradise? You got to fight like fucking hell.
Everything you've ever imagined is real. See, I tell young people like this. First of all, this is how your imagination works. You got to grab this concept. It is impossible for you to think an impossible thought. That is impossible. You can't think something that ain't possible. You ain't that smart. So if it's in your head, you got to ask yourself, how did it get there? That's God showing you a preview of a coming attraction he has for you.
I have an unhealthy obsession with spending money, but I have a healthy obsession with making it, so it's all good.
There are two things that I think that great leaders need to have: empathy and perspective. And I think these things are very often forgotten. Leaders are so often so concerned about their status or their position in an organization, they actually forget their real job. And the real job of a leader is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in our charge.
Acting, singing, and dancing, I think, are all things that came to me naturally, but they're all things that I try to challenge myself on. So I'm always trying to push myself. I think if you stop challenging yourself, then there's no more, you've stopped yourself. But there's no limit to the things that you're capable of, so I think I'm going to continue to challenge myself.
And as much as you want to be able to listen a little bit, because somebody's going to give you a gem, but nobody knows but you. You can't get advice on what you should do with your life. Right? Nobody knows what you are. Like even sometimes you don't really even know what you are. You got to take your shot. It's like, as much as you want people to agree and you want the people around you to be supporting your dreams and all, it's not going to be like that all the time. You got to do it alone.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, and maybe not the next month. Pero only one thing is true. I will be champion one day. I promise. I promise.
I don't want to move fast. I want to move correctly. I just don't want to waste no time. If it's something that's going to take us a year to make, if it's something that's going to take us 10 years to make, that's fine. Longevity.
We're all human, and we all just want a chance. A chance at life, a chance at an education, a chance at a future, really. I know that each and every one of you has the opportunity to help someone else. All you need to do is help one person, expecting nothing in return.
God, it tests you. It tests you and see how much of this you can take before you say, let's just be finished with this. You know what I mean? It wants to show you something. It wants to see how much you can take, how much you can handle of life. You say you love life, you want to live life. I'm going to show you life. Life is beautiful, but you have to accept the good and the bad as being beautiful.
You have to understand, when you have nothing to compare it to, and you just get to go to work and you see so many of your friends who are not working, I'm just grateful to be working and explore other things and not just sit back and just wait for what's handed to you.
When you're chasing your dream and when you're working hard, chasing something you love and completely dedicated, it just happens. You can't really notice it. You know, even still to this day, I'm in an amazing position in my life, but I'm still working like I'm not. I'm still working like I'm not in this position. Yeah, it's just something I love to do, and I just keep pushing and keep working hard.